Hello everybody, Mr. LEGO Lover 55 here, and today we are taking a look at possibly the best LEGO Ninjago set of the year. This is set 71858, 4 Weapons Blacksmith. Retailing for around $100 US, this set is recommended for ages 14 and up and has around 1,259 pieces. And I'm not joking, this may very well be the best Ninjago set of the year. We don't exactly know what's in store for the summer, but I gotta say, this set sets the bar extremely high in a way that'll be extremely difficult to top. Now first off, I just want to say how much of a dream come true this set is. Never in my life did I think we would be getting a full-on, accurate recreation of the 4 Weapons Blacksmith from the original pilot episodes, especially in the big 2026, yet here we are. This thing is chock full of amazing techniques, details, and of course, references. One of the first things you're greeted with upon opening the instruction manual are these couple pages dedicated to the legacy and meaning behind the location, even showing some of the references you'll find in this set. Now, the building experience for this set as a whole really caught me off guard actually, because look, as much as I do love this location, it's not the most interesting to look at least on screen. You know, it's a rectangular white box with a black roof and a bit of brown lining every now and then. However, despite that, I feel like the designer actually managed to make the build really interesting and engaging. Like, no joke, building this set made me feel like Cheesy Studios working on the Minecraft world. And you know, for those who have seen that, you know he uses some crazy snot techniques, and I was honestly getting a lot of that same energy building this, especially from areas around the base of the build and the upside down fence posts for the porch area. Even the build for the walls are made interesting. It's just built up in this really unconventional, non-standard way, and I just love it. Despite this set being made for an obviously older audience with its techniques and all, they still managed to add in a few play features, one of which is this sign explosion feature, which allows you to reveal the map to the golden weapons. You know, it's such a simple inclusion, but it really just makes me happy they actually integrated a play feature for once that's like integral to the lore of the series, because you know, as much as I love Ninjago, the sets do tend to stray away from show accuracy. You know, I think that's fairly apparent with the first iteration of this set, which looks absolutely nothing like it does in the show. So having a Ninjago set that's for once able to do that is seriously really cool. The entire shop can also swing open, so you don't have to take off the roof or like jam your hands from the top to access the interior. In fact, there's actually space for pretty much every single figure in this build, which is really nice, and I think the jumper plates around the space really makes this a lot easier, especially when posing figures. And then hidden inside the roof, you actually have 2 little nods to Kai and Nia's future, with the Samurai X helmet as well as the Kai ZX Ninja hood. And then along with these, you actually get 2 of these little spinner cards. These are little stickered collectibles they've been including in sets for a long time at this point. We get one of Kai ZX as well as Nia in her Samurai X attire. And then on the subject of spinners, this set features every single weapon that you'd find in Kai and Nia's original spinner sets. Kind of a niche reference, but again, genuinely really cool. And I mean, this set just has so many other references. There's this photo with Rey and Maya that was featured in Day of the Departed. You have this one pulled straight from the show that I think was based on like concept art or something. And then one of the funniest is this no walking sign that's just outside, referencing that one scene in season 1 where Pyther and Lloyd are just causing mischief and decide to disobey this don't walk on grass sign for some reason. And you know, with a lot of LEGO sets nowadays, it's kind of hard to find a good balance between a good build and then a good selection of minifigures. Yeah, so this set manages to do both. First of all, we finally have a screen-accurate Blacksmith Kai for the first time ever, which is really cool, much better than the one they tried to pass off in Ninjago City Markets. He comes with the hairband headpiece, which I'm not the biggest fan of. Personally, I'm just gonna swap this out for the regular one instead, so he's at least accurate to March of the Oni. And if you want, you can just swap out his new design for the original one, so you can have one more accurate to the pilots. I don't really mind that the face and hair aren't the most accurate. I think the most important parts to get right were those torso and leg prints, which they absolutely nailed. And then next up, we have Pilot Season Nia, and she is basically just a one-to-one recreation of her original minifigure. There's like a few minor changes, and honestly, I think think a lot of these were for the best, and the plus side is that this time she actually gets back printing. And then we have Sensei Wu. Once again, another faithful recreation, and you'll find me saying that about most of the minifigures in this set. His original suit was pretty simple from the start, so I don't have too much to say about him. However, I do love the little sandal printing he has now on his toes. I think that's such a nice detail. And then next up we have Maya, the former Master of Water. This is supposed to be her Serpentine War outfit, which is pretty much just the exact same as her Hands of Time outfit, which we actually did get before. And you can see they're pretty similar, but do differ slightly. I think this is most apparent with the back printing. The newer one feels more armored up as opposed to the old one. And then additionally, the newer one just has more streaks of gold throughout the whole outfit. So even if this figure isn't much different from the original, honestly, it's really cool to see her in a set again after all these years, although I kind of would have liked to get that Seabound version of her instead. And then we have Serpentine War Ray, former Master of Fire, and man, I know this is a dream come true minifigure for a lot of people. He's got like silver arms, metallic printing on his torso. We've gotten a Ray figure before, but his Hands of Time outfit leaned more towards a matte Blacksmith aesthetic. This is the one that appears in flashbacks and stuff. And now, I know a lot of people are disappointed he doesn't have that like flame printing on his arms, and to be honest, I kind of am too. I think it really would have added so much to this figure, and it's really the only thing keeping him from being a genuinely perfect minifigure. But even without it, he's still such a cool figure to finally have. And then, as a little bonus, we actually get one of these 7 anniversary figures that are actually included in several of the legacy sets throughout the year. This is Benton, Cole's grandfather and the former Master of Earth. In terms of accuracy, I believe there were a few creative liberties taken. I'm pretty sure the helmet is supposed to be more of a bronze as opposed to gold, and I'm pretty sure the face print is a reuse, probably from some Lego City minifig, although if you compare, it is shockingly really close. And something I don't think is super apparent with all the images and renders for this guy is that aside from the hips and hands, his legs and torso are completely silver. And genuinely, I think this helps so much because as cool of a figure as this is, I don't think it would be nearly as cool without those metallic parts. Like if they just did gray, it kind of would have been a boring figure, to be honest, so I'm really happy they chose to go with silver instead. To wrap things up though, I want to talk about this set's price and value. I think what you're paying for here makes sense. Again, you're paying $100 for 1,259 pieces, 6 minifigures, and a genuinely great building experience. The price to part ratio excels, although it's kind of an outdated form of measurement, to be honest. 4 of those minifigures are exclusive and highly requested by fans for years, and you're left with a hyper-detailed, screen-accurate build full of loving references and techniques you won't find in many Ninjago sets of this scale. If you're a die-hard Ninjago fan with the disposable income for this set, this is kind of a no-brainer, and I know for some the value may be difficult to see. When you look at the actual size of the finished build, it really isn't all that large, and that's because it is an incredibly dense build. And when this set costs $100, I think that's a very easy thing to overlook. But again, that value is going towards that hyper detail, those minifigs, and that building experience, which personally is one of the most important factors to keep in mind. And again, especially when it comes to Ninjago, it is not often we get accurate location build sets based directly on the show. So something like this is just oh so special. But those are just my thoughts. Do you think this set is worth the price? Are the minifigs and build all they're hyped up to be? Leave a comment and let me know your thoughts. And if you enjoyed this review, leave a like or subscribe to the channel for more content like it. I've got a whole bunch of videos planned this year, so trust me, y'all are in for a ride. But that's pretty much all I have to say, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and keep building.